Hey guys, welcome to day 12 of the Embrace Your Light aerial yoga series. Today you will focus on what feels sacred. The word sacred means to regard something with great reverence, believing in something that is bigger than yourself and gives meaning to your life. Your job in today's class is to notice what sacred means and feels like to you. Just before we start today's class, I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsor for the series, Yogorilla Mats. They create premium large exercise and yoga mats, like the one I'm using here. This is the 7 by 5 foot mat, but you can get sizes up to 12 by 6 foot. This one is 8 millimeters thick, so it provides a lot of great cushioning, which keeps your aerial yoga practice a little safer than a regular yoga mat. I also really love how huge these mats are because aerial yoga is such a dynamic practice. It feels like I have way more freedom to play within my space now, especially with these low hammock flows. The other thing I really like about the Yogorilla mats is that their mats come with a lifetime warranty. So if you're craving a large size premium mat to support your aerial yoga practice, then a Yogorilla mat might be for you. I have a link down in the description where you can browse their selection. A heads up, if you do purchase through my link, I do get a small kickback to support the channel at no extra cost to you. But as I said, I really like these mats and it might be something that you're interested in too. Now, on to today's class. We're getting started in a seated position today, so start to feel grounded down through your sit bones, whether you cross your legs or come into a kneeling position, whatever feels comfortable for your body. Start to close down or soften your gaze and start to bring your awareness inside. Start to notice how you're feeling. When you feel called to take that big sigh, take a big breath in and then sigh it out. Arrive into your space, into your body. Start to notice the sensation of the word sacred in your body. Notice where your thoughts start to drift to as they search for the meaning of the word sacred. Notice if it feels like a light word, light thoughts, or is there any heaviness there? Take a big breath in. Let something go as you exhale. Start to form an intention around the word sacred. That could simply be, I am sacred. I feel sacred. And you might even notice how you could create your space to feel a little bit more sacred as well. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. Blinking your eyes open, give me a smile. Let's start with our pranayama today. So you're going to get your right fist and extend your thumb, pinky finger, and your peace fingers. Your peace fingers will come to your brow, space between your brow and your third eye. Soften or close your gaze. Take a preparatory breath, big inhale, and exhale. Closing your right nostril with your thumb, inhale through the left nostril. Close both nostrils at the top. Release your right and breathe out. Breathe into your right nostril. Close both. Then breathe out of the left. That's one round. Going for 4 more. Breathe into the left. Close both. Breathe out of the right. Breathe into the right. Close both. Breathe out of the left. Breathe into the left. Close both. Breathe out of your right. Breathe into your right. Close both. Breathe out of your left. Breathe into your left. Close both. Breathe out of your right. Breathe into your right. Close both. Breathe out of your left. Last round, breathe into your left. Close the top. Breathe out the right. Breathe into the right. Close both. Breathe out of the left. Release your hand down to your knee, coming back to a normal breath. Noticing sensation in your body. Starting to form an intention around the word sacred if you haven't yet. Take a deep breath in, fill up with your intention. As you breathe out, push the intention down through the body into the soles of your feet. Embody that sensation of the intention. So it is anchored like stone. Blink your eyes open, give me a smile. Let's begin in the hammock. You're going to bring your shoulders inside. So finding the middle. Bring your shoulders to the back side of the hammock. And then gently lean on back, clasp the hands behind the base of the skull. And you might keep your chin into your chest, or maybe start to lift up just a little bit, resting the head in the hands. Take a big breath in, expand through the chest. And a big breath out. Start to find a wave through the shoulders. So wave the shoulders over to the right, through center and over to the left. Take that 2 more times to each side. Last round, over to the right, and then over to the left, meeting back in center. Starting to reach up onto the hammock, chin into the chest. You're going to bring the hammock a little further down on the back, so bring the soles of the feet onto the ground, lifting up the hips, and then bring the shoulders down onto the ground. You might need to lift up a little bit to find some space. When you get to the lower back, you're going to step your feet in, come onto the balls of your feet, press the hips up, so you can slide the hammock underneath your hip bones and off of the lower back crunchy section, so onto that fleshy part of the top of the glutes. 1 foot at a time, we'll come to the front side of the hammock. So soles of the feet meet in a diamond shape on the front side of the hammock. Front side meaning where your face is. And we're here in our inversion. Take a big breath in. Long breath out. Take a little sway through the hips, swaying the hips back and forth, releasing any tension in the spine. And then gently make your way back to center. You're going to press your ankles into the hammock as you lift up the hips, opening up the knees, and then lower the hips back down into the fabric. Take that 2 more times. Press the ankles into the hammock to lift and press the hips up, and then lower back down. 1 more time. Slowly lift with control, press the hips up, and then lower back down. You're going to bring your right foot down onto the ground behind you, and then that left foot's gonna hook onto the opposite pole. So it slides on across and hooks onto the opposite side. So we're here in a variation of pigeon, and we're gonna stretch the outside of your thigh on that left leg. So you're gonna bring your chin into the chest and start to climb up the hammock above the leg. So climb up as far as you can. You'll notice that as you bring your chest closer to your leg, it's a deeper stretch. So if you're feeling like this is enough or too much, you'll slide the hands down, keep the chin into the chest, and stay here. If you'd like a deeper stretch, so you can feel the body is softening and you can go deeper, you might climb up as high as you can. High, until that leg can get a little closer in towards the chest. Flex the toes of that left foot. Take a big breath in and a long breath out. One more big breath in. Hand grip slipping, big breath out. Going with that slipping hand grip, come back down into your inversion. Shoulders come all the way back down onto the ground. Releasing one hand at a time. Bring your feet back, soles of the feet meet back together. And then your left foot will come down behind you. And you'll bring that right foot across onto the opposite side of the fabric, locking the toes onto the opposite side. And again, chin into the chest, start to make your little climb up the hammock, noticing where your point of tension is or sensation and staying there. So if it's nice and low, stay there. And if you can feel the body softening, you can go a little deeper. You might climb up a little more. You can use that foot on the ground to help lift you up. Shoulders away from the ears as you lift the chest proud in towards the leg. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Starting to sink into that slipping hand grip on the hammock, coming all the way down with control, releasing one hand at a time to reach onto the ground. You're going to bring both feet onto the ground. Move both feet onto the ground. And the feet are going to be about hip width distance apart. You're going to press your feet into the ground as you press and lift the hips up out of the hammock just slightly. And then lower back down. Lift the hips up, press through the glutes, through the feet, squeeze the glutes, and then lower back down. You're going to reach up on the hammock, chin into the chest, and bring your sit bones down onto the ground. Crossing the legs. Bring the hammock over the top of your head into a front hand grip, sliding the hands down towards each other and leaning forward with a straight arm. Start to bring your chin down into your chest. And you might take a little sway with that chin, releasing any tension in the head. Noticing the shoulders here, if it feels really intense on the shoulders, maybe you take a bend through the elbows. And coming back to center with the chin, roll yourself up into your seat. Coming back into your forward fold, so gripping onto the hammock. The higher up you grip on the hammock, the easier it is, the less forward fold sensation you have. Otherwise, you'll slide the hands down and come all the way. You're going to come into a sway here. So start to sway the body over one side, through center, and then over to the other side. Take one more to each side, or one more now to each side. So we've got 3 in total. And then come back to center, rolling the spine up into your seat, and then press it forward. Come into forward fold. Big inhale. As you exhale, roll the spine up into your seat, and then press it forward. Inhale. 2 more like that. Roll it up, and then press it forward. 1 more time, rolling it up, and then forward fold. Meeting in the seat, rolling up, and meeting in the seat. Releasing the hammock here, coming onto your hip flexors, so into our swan variation or hip type. You're going to bring your knees underneath you into a kneeling position, and then you're going to palms face down, grabbing onto the hammock. And the hands need to be wider than hip width distance apart, so the hands don't get caught. Try and grab the hammock with your hip flexors, so you're going to sink your hips down into your heels as you lean the chest forward. And the hammock gets grabbed in that hip crease on the top of the thigh. So not on the belly, but below the hip bone. And you'll start to slide the chest down, bringing more weight onto your hip flexors. If you need to, you can use a blanket or towel as extra padding. So you may need to pause the video and grab that if you want to. Otherwise, you're going to be here controlling the weight disbursement on the hip flexors by pressing more weight into the 4 corners that are touching the mat. If you can go deeper, you're going to bring your forehead down onto the back of your hands, untuck the toes, and relax completely. Take 2 big breaths here. 1 more big breath in, and a big breath out. You're going to lock 1 foot around the outside of the hammock at a time. 1 foot around the outside of the hammock at a time. coming onto your forearms, and then you'll tuck the pelvis in slightly and take a little sway through the hips. So swaying the hips back and forth. Take one more sway to each side, and then just come back into center. Release one foot at a time down onto the ground. Bring the knees down onto the ground and then slide the hips back onto the heels into child's pose. Bring the forehead to the ground. Take one big breath in, expand, and exhale. Coming back into your hip hang, slide on back, bringing the weight back onto your hip flexors. You're going to turn your body over to the left. So the left hand forearm will come onto the ground. Start to look up towards the hammock to the left, grabbing onto the hammock with your left hand. Start to turn your hips. Keep them underneath the hip bone, so on the top of the thigh. If you can, you may need to lower your shoulder down a little bit. And you should be feeling a deep sensation and massage sensation in the top of the glute. You might play with that sensation a little bit, so notice if you can take a little bit of movement here. If you feel any pinching pain, like in the hip or in the muscle, then that's probably not the best feeling, pinching pain, so you may need to come out and readjust. With your top leg, so your left leg is going to come up onto the inner side, the middle of the hammock on the front pole, the inner part of the foot. And then you're going to simply start to float and lower that bottom leg. So float the leg and then lower down the bottom leg. We'll give it a float and lower, float and lower. Now start to bend that lower leg in towards your chest and then straighten it out. Bend it in, straighten it out. Bend it in, last one, straighten out. That top leg comes back down onto the ground. Turn your hips down through center, keeping them in place using your hands to help. Turning in the other direction, so left hand onto the ground and turning to the right. And again, using your hand grip to help keep the hammock below that hip bone so it stays on the top of the glute. And again, readjusting however you need to. You may need to come out completely to get the hammock in the best feeling position. Top leg, the inner part of the foot comes and rests on the inner side of the hammock. The hand can help by gripping onto the hammock as well. And simply using that bottom foot, you're going to lift it up and lower it down. Lifting up the bottom foot just a little bit and lower it back down. Lift and float, lower it back down. Lift and float, lower it back down. One more time. Lift and float and lower it back down. You're then going to float the leg and bring the knee in towards the chest and then straighten it out. Bring your knee in towards your chest and straighten it out. One more time, bring the knee in and then extend. Beautiful. Bring both legs together, slowly with control. You're going to turn your hips up towards the sky. So lower the shoulders down, grabbing onto the hammock and start to twist the hips until you're facing the sky. Staying here, so notice the positioning of the hammock against the glutes. So you may need to lower the hammock down or lift it up. Find a spot where it feels like the glutes need a massage. And you're simply going to play with some shapes here. So lift up one knee through the center and then lower it back down. So in being careful that the hammock doesn't slip out from the hips, opposite leg comes up and then down. So you're not going to bring the knee into the chest, just in line with the hammock or behind it, and back down. Opposite leg, up and down. One more time each side. Last one. Beautiful. Bring the knees out wide, toes touch, and then bring the feet around to the front side. Take a little sway through the hips. A nice big inhale. A long exhale. Grabbing onto the hammock, chin into the chest, release the feet to the other side. Coming through your little frog, lower the hips down all the way onto the ground. And turning to face me. And we'll finish our class here together. So finding your seat, bring your thumbs to heart center, closing down the eyes. Take a big breath in, notice your intention. And then push it down through the body into the feet. Bring the chin into your chest, bowing your mind to your heart. Acknowledge that deep sacred place that lives within you. May you share your light and love with the world around you today. From my heart to yours, Namaste. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for today's class. I hope that this was beneficial for you. If you would like to tell me something sacred that you feel is sacred to you, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to talk with you, get to know you better. And also, if you like this video, make sure you like it and give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, then hit the subscribe and bell icon so you get notified when I release new videos. I'll see you for day 13 tomorrow. Bye guys.